Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you, and this video is a follow-up, as I said I was going to do, to my top 5 steroids with the lowest amount of side effects. This is the top 5 with the highest amount of side effects. Let me preface this real quickly. These are very, very close, like extremely close in terms of where you could rank them. It is pretty much impossible to really do this. I'm going to do my best on it, but it's so arguable, and I will admit that up front, but these all 5 belong on this list. Guarantee you that. So, that being said, big thank you to everybody supporting the channel. I cannot thank you enough. So much love and support. Please, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, hit that like button. Make sure to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the updates from YouTube every time I upload new content. Follow me on Apple, Spotify, and Google, SARM's Expert Podcast, all these videos in podcast form. So, let's attempt to do this. All right? I'm going to do my very, 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 very best. I left Winstrol off of here. It's not quite to that level, but Winstrol does carry a pretty good amount of side effects with the joint pain, the toxicity, and high amounts. But it's not strong enough for this list. I know some people think Deca is this horribly side effect riddled compound. It's not. If you run it properly, it's actually quite light. If you do it right, it can be a problem. But these other 5 to me are glaring, just glaring. I'm smiling because I'm going to do my best here. Number 5, Trenbolone, mint. I put it at 5 instead of ranking it higher because of the huge amounts of estrogen conversion. Very suppressive, very, very high on the, I mean extremely high on the estrogen conversion to the point where some people have to run Letro with it. So for me, when you're talking about something like that, it belongs on this list. It's not as mainstream, not as widely used, so I debated on even putting it on here, but it is more popular, and it definitely belongs on this list. I could argue it higher, and I had it higher, and I redid my list before I did the video. And I've redone the list so many times because I can't make up my mind, and I just said, fuck it. I'm just throwing them out there, and we can interchange these. But I have Trenbolone at number 5. Okay, this is where it gets really tricky for me, because these 4 arguably could all interchange. I am putting Anadrol at number 4. I just don't find it as harsh as the next 3. Anadrol is extremely, extremely toxic, extremely suppressive, and for something that does not convert to estrogen, yet still carries estrogenic side effects, and you factor all those in. See, D-ball is not as toxic as Anadrol is. Or D-ball would be on here because of the huge amounts of estrogen conversion. But because Anadrol seems to wreck people's liver and blood pressure so much more than D-ball does, I had to put it on this list here. My experiences with it are phenomenal, but I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking for a universal consensus where far more people have trouble with it than don't. All right, 1, 2, and 3, it's like 1A, 1B, and 1C. This is just very difficult. Superdrol number 3. I hate Superdrol more than any compound. I've never had any worse experience on it, but there are some people that handle it a little bit better, but there's many, many that cannot finish 4 weeks of it. Superdrol is so toxic, and it will just drain you because it's so toxic to the liver, and it can play some mental games with you and just throw you completely off in anger, depression, high amounts of suppression, ridiculously high amounts of toxicity. I don't think anybody's going to argue with Superdrol on this list, and somebody might even argue it as number 2. Somebody might say, oh, it's not that bad. I find it to be terrible, and I've encountered so many people that find it to be terrible. This is not just based on my own experience. Even with my experiences, though, I'd keep it at number 3 if it was just based on my own experiences, but this is factoring in everybody else's, and so it could really be 2B or 1B or 1C or whatever the case may be. Number 2, though, is halotestin. Halotestin is so strong and can cause you so many aggressive problems. I mean, good Lord. Don't run halotestin with Tren ever. Just don't do it. Halotestin, it's not like this big mind fuck like Tren is, but it can really, really make you an aggressive person and make you angry and make you react in ways that you'd never react. And it is so toxic. I mean, it is at like the highest level of toxicity when you look at blood work. It is, I don't find any reason to use Halo at all. I've said, MMA fighters, I can see it because you won't gain any size and you'll be so aggressive. I don't like it for anybody to use it. I don't find it to be useful or purposeful in any way, shape, or form. Because what's the main draw to it? The strength and the muscle hardening. Well, you can get those in other areas, okay? Maybe not quite to this extent, but it's not like it's so damn overwhelming that you can justify using it with all these problems. I would say just forget it. Number one is Trenbolone, and it's more because of the variety of things that it can cause. It's so many different things. Okay, obviously suppression. It can cause low libido, night sweats, huge emotional problems. I mean, causing you to go into just fits of different, and that's different for people. But the things that it can do there, it can hurt your cholesterol. It can hurt your blood pressure. I mean, the list is on and on and on. And there's so many people that use it as a first cycle or think this and just cannot do it. And it really messes them up long term, especially mentally. I don't like it for anybody that's inexperienced, and at this point in my life, I don't really see a ton of reason to use it unless you're competing, or things like that. But I don't think too many people are going to argue with Tren at number one on this list. I really don't. But that's my top 5 list of the most side effect riddled or most dangerous compounds out there. So that being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli signing off.